move the performance forward for semantic web applications. We need introducing semantic web technology on all low-level things like communication protocols, and so all communication protocols should be defined really in description logic ontologies, and which allows making inference on these definitions by machines. And also the important consequence that so we need to eradicate the computer hooliganism from software engineering. We need to define software engineering in terms of logically consistent systems, logically understandable by machines and humans. So I think that's basically what I have to say to you, and I need to leave some time for questions.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have about 10 minutes for questions, and yeah, please.
Yeah, I didn't get it. Just when talking about this project, it's saying that, for example, you declare an ontology, then you're saying there's a thing merged into it. It's saying int I equal to int I, then you say I equal to 0, you merge together. But you can't declare a variable inside. I mean, inside ontology. Well, trying to understand is this kind of thing you declare a OWL class is called I of type of.
Okay, let's return to
then
this
you
example.
assign the value, then somehow you using an engine to research give you an answer of value of 1.
Yeah, you can get a detailed description on my project using this web link, but I of course I will explain right now.
Which link?
Search for which member?
This link. So this is this link has some material on this, but very limited, of course. But I will explain it to you shortly, just how it works in ontology. In ontology we have an individual. Basically it models with the help of individual and the property of individual. So the individual somewhere here, and its property, data property with integer value.
Okay.
This is the definition of variable. So defining individual, and then this contains just definition of individual and the property, integer property, but without value.
So I get what you declare a class, OWL class as variable.
No,
Then
it's
you
not
give
class.
instance of I,
It's a
then
property, it's another concept in OWL concept.
I know it's property. It's a data property, which is int. But int you can't type into property like this. There's no way you can store in OWL. OWL need to have a class first. I mean, the class you create an instance for the class. Then you have property for the class. So that means if I is a individual, then I need to be a type of a class.
No, it's not necessary.
Data
So-
property class.
Of course, the classes are used widely and everywhere in ontology web language. But for this simple example, it's not necessary. So, really, in ontology web language, classes are somehow they are not much related. They are not fixed to individuals. So, individual is something which exists in the universe. So there is no rigid association between a class and an instance of the class, because it's not. I understand this from the object-oriented point of view of traditional programming. We declare a class and then we instantiate a variable or object of the class. It's not the same as in ontology of language. In ontology of language, it's a little bit different, little bit more flexible. we declare classes which are separate from individuals, and then we declare individuals. And then defining assertions on the individuals, we can automatically or explicitly assign a class to individual, or subsume that, put this individual into a particular class. That's why we don't really need, for this simple example, we don't really need classes at all. Just simple individual, that's all.
Okay. Any more questions?
Yeah, if I may. You mentioned why the method was proposed is because to solve the problem that to increase the computational power, because it's decidable poetry compared with the procedural is less computational power. If say the computation power is not an issue, so why we should apply this method approach in that?
The main philosophy behind this is that it brings the description logic definition to applications. So that means that you develop application in terms of ontology. It's quite high level. So in other words, you use ontology of language as a programming language, high level programming language.
Okay.
So this would, and also it's good from the point of view of model-driven engineering, because actually, in this case, we have no really difference between the model and application itself, you know. It's quite nice property, you know.
Yeah. Thank you.
Actually, first of all, it was very interesting idea to show the statements of common programming languages inside ontology, which is a very fascinating idea of the work. But another thing is, you know, if you want to put the whole things in ontology, one specific thing which is missing is negation. So in a normal programming language, we can describe that something is not from some sort of things. But in ontology aspects, we can't do that, as far as I understand. In ontology, we can say something is something, something has something, something is in a specific relationship with something. But we cannot say something is not in a specific relationship with something else. Which means the negation is, that's why, all right? So how can we do that?
So something has a property that does not have that something else.
With help of
No,
negative property.
That
Yeah.
is wrong because OWL is based on open word ontology, which
So
means
it's no
everything
negative.
everything is
No
possible.
negative, yeah.
Negation, as far as I understand,
No
I know right
no
now,
negation.
No,
negation is not there. So it means
You
all
only
of, especially this if that else statements, perfectly you explain.
Let me clarify. Then in the standard of ontology of language, there are a definition of negative properties. So no problem. You can, if you have individual 1, individual 2, you can explicitly define that the individual 1 doesn't have a property with the value of individual 2. That's simple. That's it.
But it doesn't mean that, it doesn't imply that it is not possible. The only thing that we describe in this way is that link is not there. That's it.
No.
But it doesn't mean that in reality this link cannot be there. But in normal programming language, when we say, let's say, when something is not something, it means it is not. It is impossible to do it in the arena of a
No,
programming
I
language.
understand the open world, but you need to keep in mind that if I had something to write,
So, unfortunately.
okay.
That's
Okay.
our problem.
Okay, so if we have 2 individuals, for example,
A and B equal to none.
it's possible.
Yeah.
So it's possible to declare negative property between 2 individuals. It's a part of standard.
Right.
So if we have 2 individuals, we can have property. Individual 1, individual 2 can have property declared between them.
That's right.
Then, in another case, if we define nothing, just two individuals, nothing defined, that means all opportunities can have property or cannot have property. And another, the third opportunity is declaration of negative property. In this case, we declare that this individual doesn't have property with this individual. So this means negative property. So it covers everything.
Yeah, logically, it doesn't mean that it is not possible. It just says that, it just shows that that particular thing is not there. But it doesn't mean that it cannot be.
It's the second case I described.
Yeah.
When I don't specify property between individuals, it means that could be or could not be. So all opportunities are open.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
open
It
door.
is open door. That's
But
it, yeah.
if we define the negative property between two individuals, that means that no way of this individual having this property.
Yeah, that is things. Can we do such thing?
I'm very sorry to interrupt the discussion, but
All right.
unfortunately,
Thank you very much, Igor, because
unfortunately,
I really
we
enjoyed
have to move forward because we have now a speaker from Cleveland on you know, remote call. So let's thank again Dr. Tujilev.
I just want to thank organizer of the conference and Dr. Vyatkin who provided this opportunity for me to make presentation.
Thank you very much. We wish to have more time to discuss.
You make this two sets. Then you say A sets B equal to
Okay.
B equal to C. No, this is still a relation.
It is still a relation.
Still a relation. What he makes is the two is
It is not. It
absolutely.
doesn't mean negation.